Hey friends, it is summer, which means it's time to do the mid-year freakout tag. I don't always do this tag. I think I've done it once before. There was one year I filmed it and didn't get it edited, so I just let it go. But this year, hopefully you will be seeing this video. I always like watching these and seeing kind of where people are at, what they've been reading, what's been good to read this year. And I usually don't get to books that actually come out in that year, so I haven't read like 2024 releases. So I watch these and I kind of know what I should keep on my future TBR list. I have tried to make sure I only put each book on here once. So I may be putting stuff at the bottom to let you know what other categories these books could have fallen in, because there's some of them I really wanted to put more than one spot but ended up not, so I could get more books on the list. Let's get started. All right, prompt number 1, best book I have read this year. I am so far behind, and this first book is going to show it because I just read Way of Kings for the first time and I loved it. It is so far the best book I've read. I've read a lot of good books actually this year, so this was not an easy choice, but I love Brandon Sanderson. Kaladin was amazing. I could not put it down. For being 1,000 pages, I burned through it and I was interested and wanting to know more the whole time. I loved Bridge Crew 4 and Dalinar. Sly, I don't know. There's so many good characters in this book, and I am very curious where it's gonna go. I know most people are like rereading this series or caught up because a new book comes out, but I have just read the first one. So eventually I'll make my way through the series. All right, the next question is the best sequel you've read this year. I've read a lot of good sequels, but they were kind of already in other spots, and I did enjoy this book. So I'm going with Tower of Dawn by Sarah J. Maas. I feel like a lot of people have not liked this book, but I really enjoyed the story. Maybe it's because I was not reading it back to back to back to back. So this is kind of a side quest, almost journey between two characters from the main series that have gone off, done their own thing, they fall in love, which you know I like. I really enjoyed the character arc. I really enjoyed getting to see the battle within these characters. So I did not think this was a bad book at all. Some people like read it in partnership with another book, Empire of Storm, I think, so that they don't have to read just a Kale book, but I really loved reading just a Kale book. New release, I haven't read yet, but want to. I just got this book for my birthday. It is Lore Olympus Volume 6. I have gushed about Lore Olympus. There are so many spots I could put Lore Olympus. It could probably be almost every spot on this list. But I adore this retelling. The art style is just gorgeous, and I want to continue reading. This is one of the few series in my life that I read the book as soon as it comes out. I do have the added benefit that it's a graphic novel, so I have an easier time keeping up with it, but I will say I devour these books. Anticipated release for the second half of the year. Like I said, don't really keep up that well with new releases for each year, but I have been looking forward to the second House on the Cerulean Sea book. I don't know what it's going to be called, but I read House on the Cerulean Sea with my book club, and we've been talking about reading the second book together. I loved TJ Klune's writing in the first one. I've read some of his work since then and enjoyed it. So I want to see more Chauncey, cute little bellhop boy. I think I'll actually get to pick this one up this year because I have a book club to do it with. Biggest disappointment so far this year, I'm going to say Flower Heart. I DNF'd this book. It just kind of wasn't going anywhere and made a bunch of small things seem like a big deal. The cover is just beautiful and I really wanted to like this book. I got it on audiobook. But yeah, I just couldn't figure out. The main character was very whiny, and just being in her head for the whole book felt very repetitive and mundane in a world full of magic. And so yeah, I did not finish it. I really wanted to buy it because of the cover, so I'm kind of sad that it wasn't good. Biggest surprise, I'm going to put Thunderhead. I almost just read Scythe and then stopped reading the series. I liked Scythe a lot, but I kind of felt like I didn't need to keep going, and I am so glad I did because Thunderhead was amazing. It had really good twists at the end. I mean, the whole last like 3 chapters, I was kind of sitting here with tense shoulders and my hands on my cheeks because I knew what was coming. You could see the puzzle pieces kind of falling together, and it was going to be epic in the worst way. And so I'm very excited to continue on with this series now, and I almost didn't even read book 2. The next one is Crush. I'm gonna go with Cassian. I read House of Silver Flames, I think it is, on Kindle. And yeah, I love Cassian and Nesta, love their dynamic. I don't think anything else needs to be said. Next up is favorite character, and I'm gonna choose a Sword Heart character. I really had this book somewhere else on the list, and then I just kept coming back to Brindle. I loved this book. It was very happy and cute. There were dark moments, but it is a romance, and one of the characters is a mole that drives an ox cart, and I just loved Brindle. He's very no nonsense and all about taking care of his ox, and so most of his dialogue is just like, Brindle will not let you touch the ox, and Brindle will not let you hurt the ox, and these humans are weird. It's just kind of his vibe, and it just added a very hilarious dynamic to an already pretty funny story. Up next is a book that made me cry. I've had Know My Name by Chanel Miller on my shelves for a few years and hadn't gotten around to it. This is a beautiful book. It is one of my top reads this year. It is so sad and tragic and honest, and Chanel is a genuinely good writer, and so there were definitely moments that were hard to read. This is about a sexual assault, so definitely look up some trigger warnings, but she kind of walked through everything that happened after and what the hospital process was like, what it was like to go work with lawyers, what the press was like, what it was like when she was a Jane Doe and no one knew it was her except for her family, what it was like when people knew it was her, when she finally said, this happened to me, I am that person. So you get so many different pieces that you may not think about when you hear stories like this, and her being able to write all that down is so incredible. So yeah, I definitely cried. On the flip side of that, a book that made me happy, I'm gonna go with Little Thief by Margaret Owen. I really like this author. She does really good YA retellings. This is a Goose Girl retelling. At the beginning, I wasn't sure. The main character is really obnoxious. What happens is a handmaid takes the place of a princess, and the princess has to become a goose girl till she can get her place back. This is the story of that from the handmaid's point of view, why she took the place of the princess, why she's stealing a bunch of stuff. There is a murder mystery that happens. There's some dark magic that's happening. There is a detective that is so incredibly awkward and a blooming relationship. And by the end, I was so in love with this book. I just really like the way this author writes retellings. They're so like comforting, but in a very unique way. Very similar feel for me to T. Kingfisher in that you're getting a dark twist. These are a little bit lighter of a read than T. Kingfisher, but just kind of the uniqueness vibe is very much the same. Most beautiful books you got this year, these editions. I love the pastel. I love the way they go together. I love the reflecting bits. The story is good. It has a dragon. It's just like everything. The cranes, the edges. What more can you ask for? I love these books. Got them for Christmas. I've read both of them. They're wonderful. Yeah. It's just good. I don't know anything else to say. They just make me very happy. The next prompt is books you need to read by the end of the year. These are Wheel of Time. Look how big they are. But yeah, 12, 13, and 14. I have 3 books left in the series, and I want to get it done this year. Will it happen? I don't know. I don't feel like obligated. I'm not putting pressure on myself. I'm trying to read a big book every month, so I have time to get this done. We'll see. I enjoy this series. I'm proud of how far I've gotten because it does kind of feel like a marathon and a weird achievement at this point. Hopefully, you will see these 3 books before the end of the year being read. The last prompt is favorite video you've made this year. I have not been very consistent with videos, but I did just make a series I'm not gonna finish video, which was kind of fun in a weird way. Just kind of got some things off my chest, and I feel like I'm less bogged down. So I'll leave that up here, a little card for it. But if you have a mid-year freakout tag video, put a link to it or let me know down below. I love watching these. Well, absolutely go watch yours. So I will see you all later. Bye, friends.